A mountain biking kid. Unusual to get a mountain biking kid straight up. We're going to wait around just a minute or two. Obviously, this is an unusual camera angle. I apologise for the crotch shots, but I did go all out today, and I actually put underwear on to make sure there's no horrific, traumatising type events that occur if by accident, because this is a live stream. So you got to be careful of live streams. You just don't know if you might get a bit of a slip on something. But so finally I was walking out of Bunnings today because I was down in Townsville getting a bunch of other things, and I spotted this thing for $119, and it's not quite what I was after, because there was another one, I think it was a super tool or something, and it had multiple drawers in it, but they didn't have any stock, and it was a bit more expensive. So I thought, you know what, I'll try this one rather than wasting time. It's about time I got a car. I am not too sure. Now that I'm looking at it, I see the height is 825, which is actually going to be a little bit big. It's going to be up here, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can knock the casters off it or change it, change the casters. So anyway, let's get into it. So see what this kit's made of. I'm trying to wonder whether by the way, I've changed the audio setup. I replaced I'm using the new microphone, but I'm using the old transmitter pack, so let me know if it has any glitches. Get the old Makita blade, does the trick. Took me a while to get used to using these fold out ones. It's always worried I was going to cut my fingers off, but in the end I realised it was actually a lot harder to cut your fingers off than not. Okay, destructions. And they don't call it destructions, they just call it operator's manual. What's that mean? Like, wheel it around. Do not stand on this product. Doing so may fall and cause personal injury. Grammar much not good. Use the brakes when you need the product to be still. Failing to do so may cause personal injury and other product damage. Do not mount this product on any moving object. Interesting. Do not tow with power equipment. What the hell are you going to tow this around with power equipment running on it? It may tip and thus cause, or they're using thus, they're getting fancy there. Personal injury. Keep the product moving on flat surface. What? Keep the product moving on flat surface? Like, what do you got to do? You're not allowed to let it sit still? What happens if you let it sit still? Oh, okay, we do have instructions here. So it looks like we start at the bottom, we'll work our way up. Let's see. You need 8 M8 by 13 square neck screws. Yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah, we'll fudge it as we go. That makes it more interesting. It's like Lego. I used to hate it when people would tell me to, why don't you read the instructions on the Lego? It's like, I don't want to. That takes away the fun. The whole interesting part about Lego is trying to make the final product without the instructions. Gives you a chance to see what your interpretive skills are like. Do you think we should stick the sticker on it? I don't know. They really should pay me extra for that. Yeah, Miles, exactly. No one reads the instruction manuals. Oh, son of a gun, it's already scratched. Take it back. That's not kosher. I should take it back, get a replacement one, and get a free sausage sizzle, complete with onions on the top. Onions on the bottom. Good God, man. Okay, now no, I'm not doing an AVE. This should be cut towards your chum, not your thumb or your tum. But I'm all about doing things the wrong way until it sort of critically damages me, and then I'll reassess matters. Okay, looks like we've got a bunch of nuts and screws. Yeah, much like what the YouTube audience is. Okay, so there are our handles. That can go over there. There's some solid casters on that. And we've got 2 brake ones and 2 non-brake ones. By the time I'm finished, they're all going to be broken. Free cardboard. Come on, mate. Out you go. Just realised that's going to make a good cardboard box for me to ship a whole bunch of dead MacBooks back to someone. Okay. Boom. What's this? Oh, is this? You should have had a giggle with the last video you watched. Forgotten weapons attempted to pronounce Geminti. What is? I don't know what that is. Hey, Diatom from China. How are you? Not a professional Aussie. Very sorry about that. But yeah. What's the weight limit? 100 kilos per shelf. Hey, Mark. How's it going? No, the cats don't get this box, Paul. They have got so many other boxes that they can play with outside that they're not getting this one. Alright, I was a little concerned. See how we've got these pre-installed blind... I don't know if you call them blind nuts, but anyway, I was worried that they were for the bottom, but they're not. They're for the handle, so all good. Okay, let's see. I can see where the nuts go. Is it really that simple? Sometimes when these things are very simple, you do genuinely worry that you're overlooking something rather significant. There's quite a few different Hey, the numbers. No, I wouldn't call AV out. Goodness knows the man would stick my things in a vice and have me squealing like Roger Rabbit. Okay. Now this is where the uncertainty of alignments come into play relative to the country of origin. And you don't get to see this. Yeah. This is where you wonder whether it's a alignment issue or they don't make the pictures big enough, but yeah, I'm going about it the way that I think I should. Alright, let's... Yeah. Come on, mate. Come on. Let's go. Jolly good. Changed my mind about having them all down here. Let's stick them up on the top. Uh-oh. Alright. Yeah, there's bugs all over the floor. Twang. Gravity. Yeah, I know. I'm stealing from someone else. Okay, that's one. can't believe it. Oh yeah, wait, no, yeah. They gave us washers. They got some interesting looking ones there. But what I love about the destructions... Okay, what have we got? Item 10. Square neck screws set. That's marvellous. 24 of them. I'm kind of curious. I'm going to guess... so this is why instructions like this basically suck, because they give you a course outline, like they lead you down the path to say, follow us, we will show you how to do this properly. But they don't really. They just sort of like lead you into a blind alley, and there's a couple of gangsters there that are going to mug you. So you're better off just doing things your own way. And if it sucks, well, that's on you. Okay, so I'm going to guess that these little star looking washers are going to be for this particular... God damn it. I'd have to pick the one that's upside down first. Oh, c'est la vie. I'm doing my best to make sure that I absolutely induce an untold amount of rage in people watching this. That is my plan. If you feel like you have not been suitably enraged while watching this, then I will have failed. In which case, I strongly suggest you letting me know in the comments that I failed, ticking you off, because I either did the job too well, which I didn't. Don't fall for that trap thinking I did it well. Yeah, I don't see why they bother with those stars in there, because the square head really doesn't pull through to the other side. Naturally, of course, this stuff is flimsier stuff. Hey, Christian Iverson. Yeah, Noosa Cat, we don't have the option of a work table. Work tables are for people who have too much money and have already prepared everything nicely. Yeah, that's no fun at all. Where's the pioneering spirit in that? I'm kind of surprised they didn't give me nylon insert nuts. I would have preferred that. Nylon insert nuts, that would have been nicer. I like nylon insert nuts. Oh, Mark, yes, well, those are construction secrets. Cannot reveal such technical details. Otherwise, people might try and reassemble their own. I can tell this is going to become wobbly as crap, because there's no... Yeah, as I move it around, those nut and washer assemblies, they're just going to come loose. Just moving a box to the outside. Also getting essential toolsies. Come here, tools. Got a use for you for a change. No longer stationary objects just rotting away in my room. It's actually going to have a use. They look like a... What's the bet they're ½ inch? I bet you they're ½ inch. Come on, be a 14. Oh, you're a 14. Lovely. You're too sloppy. That'll do. Yeah, these are nice ratcheting ring spanners with an open end. You gotta be careful with them though. Very easy to get a little excited and you can over torque them. And it's not a good thing to over torque those things because they're expensive. They're very useful, but don't abuse them. Sorry, just a bit of dinner coming up. Kick, kick. Oh damn it, where's my nuts? Yeah, ratcheting wrench, that's another word for it. Needless to say, they're very handy. Yeah, because the number of times that you end up the job where, like, you're working on the car or the bike or whatever, and you've got maybe 5 degrees of turning on it. And it's like you're never going to... Okay, I'm going to fold this down. Yeah, you'll be there forever trying to unhitch the spanner, rehitch the spanner, and you know, so on and so forth. So yeah, you just use the ratcheting one and go to town. Okay. A tricky. Now, of course, naturally I'll put this on the underside, which makes my life harder. That's alright. Real question is whether or not you'll scalp yourself on a sharp edge. Oh dear Lord. Yeah, I really don't need that happening. Everything's nicely healed up at this point. I don't need a relapse. I think maybe the risk the next week or later this week is hernia related, because I've got 3 tons of tiles to move. Yeah, you heard that right, 3 tons. It's a lot of tiles. Hey GD Tech, which piece is the ground plane? It's all the ground plane. Hello Daniel. Oh my goodness. Get in. Why you not get in? Come on. Ugh. Oh, that was loud. I'm sorry, everybody. Every now and then you get the delusion, the idea that it'd be fun to go back to doing mechanical work, like, you know, working on cars and motorbikes again. Hey, Tech 32. But then, when you're in the thick of it, you realise that's not a good idea. And that's nice and loud. This is the hardest bit, the slowest bit, simply because it's the setup. Yeah, the foundation, as it were. It's like a barbecue. You buy barbecues. Normally we make them just, you know, get a bunch of bricks or whatnot. And make sure you use the inappropriate bricks so that in a short time they start cracking, because they're not rated for even basic heat. Alrighty. I gotta say, I'm not really sure where I want to put the... Come here, you. Yeah, actually the height isn't too bad now that I look at it. I'm not really sure where I want the middle shelf. I have to think about that one. Or I can just jam it in somewhere random and that's where it's going to stay forever. Get in. This is worse than building the tin sheds. It's because I don't have a limiter on my microphone. I'm not quite the dedicated audio professional of some other YouTubers. I figure if I'm already hard of hearing, you can all join me. Don't you have to do the middle shelf first? No. There's enough room in here that I can get away with that. I could be wrong. We'll see. Okay, what's the bet? Can we do the middle shelf after I've done this top shelf, or will I, in 15 minutes, be taking this top shelf off? What's your bets? Put your bets in. And I'm not paying out for anything. If you bend it. No, we'll try and avoid the bend. We'll try just do a sort of a diagonal, sideways, angled slip in. We'll just tighten these up with the fingertips. That should suffice. I will undo the top to get to the middle. Well, let's see if we can get some stuff going on. Floppy as crap. There's no cross-member reinforcement or anything. It's just flop, flop, flop. So now, if I was designing this, I would, at the very least, have two. If you're going to have these sort of deep, sort of recessed shelf sort of things, you could at least put 2 bolts in there. And it's not a massive improvement, but it will considerably help in locking the structure. Oh no! Well, they may have a win yet. We'll see. Slip in. Nah, there we go. You guys lost. And the more entertaining part of this is that this is listed as having adjustable shelves, and I say that's a load of bullshit, because there is only one position here for me to put in the appropriate screw. So the adjustable shelf bit is a load of crap, unless I'm going to start drilling extra holes in this, which I am not. It's not because it's floppy. The complete length of the shelf is less than the diagonal allowance. Alright, okay, you may have a slight point in terms of when it comes to the final 5 degrees of turn or whatever. Now I know why they're using square screws, square bolts, because instead of having 2 bolts, they're trying to use the square bolt for the rigidity. It just doesn't work very well like that, I'm sorry to say, because for starters the metal's too thin, and because the metal is thin, it just twists the metal once it gets some force applied to it. So it really doesn't work like that. Dennis, but you kind of might have had a point there, Dennis. You should have stuck by that. If you stuck by that, you could have had a win. You could have had an internet win. Tom George, yes, that's right. The slots, all these speed holes for aeration, cooling holes. they make you think that it was adjustable, but yeah, you don't realize it's not until you see that there's no there's no space for the bolts to go in. These are really shonky. Yeah, makes my software look like God's gift to Lewis. Not your point to win. It should always be your point to win. All good, having fun with you. Always like to have someone to have a bite on. I feel like to get this all done nicely, I'm basically going to have to put in a bunch of bolts, wiggle it around, put in another bunch of bolts, wiggle it around, tighten everything up, and then spot weld it. I think the spot welding is going to be the essential part. What's happening here is that the square head, it should have been, I don't know, even half a mil proud of the actual thread. But instead what we've got is we've got a square head that basically, it's basically, they've taken a round, I don't know, they've taken us, whatever, shut up and just build the damn thing. Needless to say, it would have been a much easier build if they had a little more metal taken away for the actual thread. Even 1/4 of a mil would have done it. But this is just built to a price. Should have got the damn Sidchrome one. The only trouble with the Sidchrome one was that it was a bit tall. This is actually perfect without the casters on it. But we'll see. Do they have rub washers? They do not. No, we've just got these weird little diamond shot washers. They're not even anti-vibration washers or anything. They're just weird little things. Okay, that one actually went in alright. Let it stay wobbly. Not a trolley without casters. Ugh, great. Time for the pedantics to rise up. Interlock washers, they will work. That's on the assumption that they actually do. So the depth of the square section, it almost doesn't seem enough to get through to make a lock onto that washer. Almost. What's going on up here? Yeah. So loud. It's funny, as a person with hearing limitations, loud noises actually hurt me a lot. Because in many ways I'm not used to handling loud noises. So they will actually cripple me. It's kind of like my kryptonite in a way. Key slots on ends are upside down. Doesn't need to flip. No, it. What is going on here? What do you mean by key slots? You talking about these things? Because they're the right way up as far as I can tell. Because the handle is out over on this other side. Where's the handle? Yeah, see, the handle sits here. Loud. Oh, just making sure they're all reasonably tight. NFS style wire racks the best, but not cheap. No screws or nuts. Oh yes, actually, yeah, for networking, they're like 42-inch U racks, 19-inch racks. I mean, it's been a long time since I've had the pleasure or otherwise of working with that gear. All right. Hammering effects required. This should do it. Looks like the trolley wheels were useful. How did the knife get opened again? Basically, I'm relying on screwing to get the nut to the bolt to pull through. Come on, you're so close. Right, that results in some deformed metal there. Not severely deformed, just enough to remind of who's boss. Does the kiddies approve the trolley? They haven't seen it, thankfully. And they probably won't. Except Momo. If he comes in here checking out the room again, as he always does. At least when we let him come in, under supervision. Okay, that one's like casually inserted. The other thing I'm not too keen about on this is the fact that you've got these bolt heads protruding into the inside of the tray assembly like that, rather than being nice and flush, which kind of makes me, no. Yeah, it would have, in some ways, technically, if you care about the contents in here, you would turn those bolts around so that the excess bolt would, you'd have a nice smooth flush interior. Technically. Maybe I can find some nice sort of rubber caps or something for them just to stop them doing any damage. Fortunately, not quite so frustrating as doing motorbike repairs. Dremel them back, I think I need a bit more of an angle grinder, I suspect. Bolt heads are protruding because the shelf is upside down. No, actually, according to the design, this is the way that they're meant to be done. Here. Look at it and weep, okay? Weep at your incorrect suggestion there. Cry, cry, cry. See, and look, on the other side, double confirmation. Tears of the internet, as another person is shown to be wrong. Now, on the other hand, if there was like a pressed-in recess from there, I'd absolutely be right there with you. But that was more fun just to do that. Here comes the re. Yeah. It's all good fun and entertaining. Okay. Have I done them all? 2, 4. No, I've got 2 at the back there. This bit of paper could be wrong. Well, that is actually... We say that in humour, but that's entirely possible. It's entirely possible, and I would believe it to be. Stick some hot glue on the ends. Alright, do a Soren fix. I only defend the correctness because at this point it is the true reference that we have. But then if I should happen to disagree with the manual at any given point, then I will step away from it and say, you know what, the manual sucks, I know better. Just like with Lego. When Lego tells you to put a piece somewhere and you go, you know what, I don't approve of that. The Lego manual is wrong. It's my creation. My creation. And my creation is always right. Okay, that's good. Realised it was by pure luck I put the correct one on the bottom of the here, because I realised the bottom one has to have the holes for the wheels, and I didn't think about that. I just grabbed one and put it on the bottom. But it looks like things are in my favour, and it was the right one. No, I'm not really torquing them up that much. I'm not the sort of person that torques things up till the yield point and then backs it off a quarter of a turn and then hits it with the spot welder. That's not really my technique. That's more of a hardcore trucking technique. I mean, for one, you've got to be strong enough to actually get it to the beyond the yield point. I'm not sure I'm up to that point. Just making sure they're all locked in nicely. The other thing is, because I don't want to risk damaging my nice tools. I've had these for a long time. They've served me well. They help me pull apart my Ford Falcon EF 6-cylinder 4-litre engine, because that was a fun one. What happened? Oh yeah, that's right. The timing gear up the top that drives the cam, the bolt in it had come loose. It spun back. I don't even know how, but yeah, it had spun back, and then it dropped into the timing chain assembly area, and then it got spat up after shearing off part of the face of the block. Got spat up back into the rockers, and then the rockers knocked it out of the timing cover. And amazingly, the car still ran. So I was very impressed with that. That was some good quality car stuff. Yeah, it could have been some bars, but I didn't. Everything was good. I mean, the car did suffer the classic sort of things, like the torque to yield bolts that they had in them. Oh, that's right. That's what happened. Yeah. The torque to yield bolts, they have a habit of just snapping after a while, and that's what happened. And I started getting mayonnaise rather than oil in my engine. But there was a whole bunch of things. Needless to say, I fixed it all up. I think the worst thing about it all was just that it was heavy. Like, even for it's not a cast iron head, but it was still heavy for me because I'm just a little lightweight. And the worst thing is that with those engines, to get them out, you kind of have to tilt them up from unless you drop the engine. But of course, I was in no position to drop the whole engine out. But you have to lift the front of the block up, the head, and then drag it out. Oh, hey Momo. What you doing? Is being a troublemaker?
Just
Sucking. Unbelievable. Sitting at my door sucking. Put bolts for wheels from the inside, nuts on the outside. Not really keen on doing that because, okay, it doesn't really apply in this situation, but the problem I have is that then the nuts get fuzzed up by all the junk that it picks up and tends to make them do nasty things. But let's see what the destructions say. You know what? The destructions don't even give a good picture. I need some CSI level of zoom here. But, you know what, they are, by the looks of it, yep, no, you win that one. You win that one, they won it that way. That is definitely not the right screw. That one's too long and narrow. Yeah, I prefer to have the clean face on the exterior. Yeah, well, good flat surface. It's still going to be bumpy as. But there we go. We'll do it this way because that is the way the destructions say. I'm feeling perhaps a little angstier towards it because I hate it when lawnmower blades are installed and they've got the nut exposed, and then you try to get the blades off and the nut's just all messed up because it's been smacking into rocks and junk. It's like, why did you do it that way? Can't you get a schematic up on board? Ah, good point. Should have looked at that first. I don't know why I was holding onto that one. You guys are the wrong nuts. Yeah, fairly flat. What I will probably do with this is put in some, what do you call it? Yeah, you just sort of get some of those gym mats, that sort of rubber. So I think I'll probably go put some of that in. Yeah, naturally these suckers are going to need me to put a screwdriver on the inside. I've only got a PH2 here. I don't know where my PH3s are, but this will have to do. By the way, I have intentionally put the lockable wheel sets up at the handle side, so these are not the lockable ones. My good screwdriver is actually sitting in the Falcon at the moment, the car. It's holding the gear change selector. It's holding the gear change selector tube to make sure it doesn't pop out. Because it's been, I think, 2 years or so and I still have not fixed that up. Because that's basically how I run my life. It's a great big game of what's screaming loudest, what's on fire the most. And quite frankly, if the car is still working with that dodgy fix, then by God, it's going to keep working with that dodgy fix. Hey, Scoop Dog. You watch, I am going to probably take these casters off and I'm probably going to just put some low friction Teflon pads or something on the underside so I can just slide it around on the carpet. Ah, come on, why wasn't I contort my nuts? Ah. Yeah, I think some low friction Teflon pads would be a much better match. Good theft protection. Yeah, that's true, yeah. People will look at it and go, why is this stupid screwdriver here? They'll take it out and then they won't be able to go anywhere. It's one of my more popular videos that I have. It's kind of amusing to have that situation. It's a bit sad though when your popular videos are not the videos you want to be popular. Demonetized. Hey, ah, crap. Hey, micro repairs. Okay, so gotta get some grip on that. This is what I hate about this sort of thing, is you gotta stab around all blind and then reposition everything. Okay. These back ones particularly awkward. I'm gonna get a cramp at this rate. You got to give mechanics credit for the tight spaces that they have to work in, and so many of the time they're working blind purely by feel. They still manage to get your car to run. No microscope view. That would be something. Ratchet. Yeah, I've got the ratchet end, but I didn't bother to check to see if that actually cleanly fit. Oh my god, wood. I almost feel like I have to fix a Macbook just to test this thing out. Road test it. Yeah, having to do the reach arounds and then all the random fluids that you get struck with. Or the hot thing. Yeah, it's just like, whoop, yep, burned myself on something. Yeah, it's like, ah. It was bad enough on the motorbikes. I think cars would be worse in that respect. The worst thing about motorbikes tends to be, yeah, I mean, cars are already packed rather dense and awkward as it is, but motorbikes take that to a whole nother level of stupidity. What's Lego for adults? I hope you don't think that I'm actually finding this hard or not. I'd be disappointed if you think that I think this is hard. Have a little respect for me. Come on. A 10-minute. Or are you talking about cars? '50s car had a decent amount of room under the hood. Well, that is true. That is true. My first car was a 1972 Ford Escort, 1.3 litre, inline 4 with a Stromberg carburetor. I think it was a 28 mil. And it had a foot pump for the windscreen wiper water. Yeah, that was always fun. But, to be fair, almost nothing worked in that car by the time I had it. It should have probably been down at the wreckers, but yeah, I kept it. Got it back to life. Gave it some nice racing stripes to cover up all the bog. Yeah, sorry, thanks for reminding me what I was trying to get to. Yeah, the engine compartment on that, I could basically get into the engine bay and stand either side of the engine, pretty much. The 1300 was just this itty bitty tiny looking thing in the expanse of the engine bay. Did you also get non-slip rubber mat? No, there's no non-slip rubber mat in this one, so I'll have to get my own. The other thing I'll be concerned about is potentially short circuits, although the what do you call it? The spray should not be conductive, but you know it's going to happen, so I'll put something in there to stop that. It's a stream watermark. Ha! Yeah. No, the only body marks I have are scars from various things. Some are cats, some are motorbike, some are lawnmower. You never know. I just realised the camera's a little bit overblown. Just give me a second. Yeah, that's better. It was kind of ruining the flesh tones, making me look like I was Irish or something. What's considered high mileage out there? Good question. Most cars sort of shift on from their first owner at around about 150,000 kilometers, so that's about 90,000 miles. The Ford Courier dual cab that I have, the diesel, it has 450,000 kilometers on it. It's still going. It has lost functionality of fifth gear. You try to put it into fifth gear, it just spits that cog right back out. But it's fine because I mean I'm only using it around town, taking it for dump runs and things like that. One day I might have to leave it at the dump. But it's a good vehicle. It's got a really nice size back tray on it. I've noticed a lot of the new dual cabs, they've sort of cut back a bit severely on the size of the rear tray, and I think that's so that they can give the passengers behind the front two seats a little more room to breathe. But I think that's pretty lame. It's like you shouldn't have passengers in a dual cab. You're allowed to have one, okay? One passenger in the dual cab. Okay, this does not need... I'm a vampire. What am I doing here? I don't know. I'm just blindly... That's better. I just didn't have my thread started. But to be fair, pretty much all of those 415,000 or 450,000 kilometers were not put on by me. Put on my father, because that was his work vehicle, and of course he was in the mining industry, so he would travel considerable distances between sites. And so I've basically taken on the vehicle in its sort of retirement days since Dad's gone. And so no, it's a good vehicle, and it certainly has lasted very well. But to be fair, he did look after these things very well. I'm essentially the complete opposite of my father in that respect. He would always have proper scheduled services. He'd do everything really well. He'd look after his gear. He was an excellent example of doing that sort of thing. Me, on the other hand, when I buy things that I know can endure my lack of care. I am very bad when it comes to caring for my stuff. So I tend to overspend to make sure I get something that's very durable, because I know that I'm not going to take care of it too well. Alright, we have wheelie wheels. Can we do a donut on it? Can we do a wheelie? Yep, okay, we can. That's good. Wheelie's approved. Let's see. Brake on. Is that like wax on, wax off? Brake on. That's completely bullshit. I mean, it's yeah. The brakes on this are useless, especially on carpet. There's no real grip on the wheels, so it just slides. I guess, yeah. Alright, so in theory, I kind of might have it off to the side here. I think I can see some modifications coming in the near future. The other problem is I've got to work out where to put this when I'm done for the, sort of like, yeah. Because this is a small room, and this is a biggish trolley. What have I done? Oh God, you're too big to live in here. I might have to send you back out. And it's definitely just a smidge too high. Yeah, it's like, yeah, just a tad. So yeah, those trolley wheels are I'm probably going to take them off. Oh well, it's a start, and it will probably be useful. But I really think I'm going to have to change my workshop around. Yeah, give it a day before you find a. They can't get into this room, thankfully. A library can't. It's close enough. Hop in it and take it down the closest hill. Oh, that's a good idea. Now, how many of you, when you were younger, would do stupid stuff like find a tall hill, get a skateboard, and ride the skateboard down that hill, and then about halfway down, you realise this is the dumbest thing you should have ever, you've ever done, and you're probably going to die. Anyway, I have. Here we go. Yeah, that terror that overcomes your sense of stupidity, but too late. Yeah, that's always fun. Let's see. Raise the chair. Now it means I have to raise the benches as well. PC card. Check Tim's videos and see what he has. He's probably got something like this. He's just got more room than I have. Hey Catherine, welcome back. Morning Greg, just as we're finishing up, buddy. Need 50... What? Damn it. What did I see there? Have I done aerial shots for the cat village? I don't have a drone as yet. I am looking at getting one, but I haven't got one yet. All in good time. Someone mentioned 50mm wheels. Yeah, need 50mm casters to drop the height down. Yeah, something like that. A slow motion moment when all senses become clear again. That's only if you live. Trolley looks perfect for the tools, extra equipment. Well, it is, it is actually really good, and maybe I can put things like the, the useless crap I have in my workshop. Like this. Yeah, I'll stick that in there. I don't use this. It's useless. It can sit there and maybe smash its LCD panel into the nuts. The bolts, rather. Let's see, what else is useless other than myself? Pretty much everything else is used in here. But yeah, the DSOs, they're one of those things that, okay, when you need to have it, you need it. There's no substitute for it. But 99% of the time, by the time you pull that thing out, rig it up, and get ready to capture your signals and stuff like that, you probably could have diagnosed the board anyway. So they have their uses, but I think quite often they're oversold. I bought it only because it wasn't going to cost me much. I already had the money, as it were, and there wasn't anything else I could use the money on. So I got one of them. Thought, right, that's at least off my list. If you raise the bottom plinth with wheels attached, won't that lower an inch? Wait, what? If you raise the bottom... Oh, I see what you're saying. No, well, see, the trouble we have with this particular one is even though they say it's adjustable shelves, it's a big fat lie. So all this beautiful... Yeah, you can barely see it. All these holes and beautiful keying and all that sort of stuff, it's not for the shelves. You can't move the shelves other than top, middle and bottom. It just doesn't work because they all need square hole points. I could basically just drill out, because these do line up here. So I could end up with just a 4-bolt solution, like 2 at either end, or I can then additionally drill some support holes in here, and so that could work. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, worst case scenario, I can go into the workshop shed or something like that. Turn the bottom shelf upside down, and it should drop 5 centimeters. Now that's smart thinking. Trying to think. Okay, the only problem is that you then won't be able to move it anywhere because the trolley wheels want to swing. And so when they want to try and get into that position, then because it's upside down, they will not work. But that was a good idea. I will grant you, that was a good idea. Why not modern add a shelf? A board won't be heavy. Ask what your FLIR software would offer when you release this. The FLIR software that I've written, it's really dodgy. I mean, supremely dodgy. It crashes all the time. It crashes like Lewis believes my software crashes. And I just haven't really bothered to put that time into finding out why it's crashing. I think it's every now and then there's like a frame that comes out of the infrared camera that my software mishandles, and then it just sort of goes off into la la land. Since when has that stopped me? That's a good point. Yeah, someone knows me too well though. Yeah, well, we could put a bin on the side, eh? There we go. There we go. And I could throw up in this bin when jobs go wrong. So I've been doing lots of throwing up. Yeah, many possibilities of what we can do. Build a do-it-yourself shelf and install it between the roof and the shelf. That a few holes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's entirely possible. If you remove the sides of the lower, okay, yes, you could do that. The only trouble is you will actually lose a moderate amount of structural rigidity because your weight's coming down onto those wheels, and then if you notch out here, you're going to lose this folded over lip, which adds quite a decent amount of strength in conjunction with the side. So if you have to knock out that, you will find that the whole thing will start to actually buckle out and you'll lose your strength. Anyway, no, we'll leave it as, I think, yeah, if I get smaller casters, that would actually be the real solution overall. I'm trying to think what sort of distance we need here to drop it. Where's my... Why do I never have enough? Damn it. No, steel rulers are not around. Okay, let's go for the finger test. So it's around about that, which I'd say is about 8 centimeters. Yeah. I'm not real sure what size those casters are. Remove the wheels and put a load of marbles on the floor. Is a good that's a good idea, Andrew. Plenty of room to put electric scooter motor and a large battery, then go downtown. You guys are coming up with the best ideas. Low profile casters shouldn't be a problem. Just take it to Lakemba. Wait, I don't know that one. Smaller casters and bottom shelf upside down. That okay, that's a good idea. And yeah, the other way I could do it, if you wanted to not go smaller casters, is drill different holes for where these you lose the ability to set the brake, but the brake doesn't work anyway. I mean, functionally, I mean, yes, you can kick it down and it will brake, apply the brake. All that is actually doing is just compressing the metal, I don't know what, the metal part into the hub of the plastic wheels, so just crushing it basically. Anyway, what you could do is you could move these wheels one sort of distance over, drill another 2 holes, and then that would work. State in Sydney, you mean suburban Sydney, where the lowriders are very popular. Oh right, okay. If you put an LED battery under the lights, oh yeah, there's a good idea. I like that. So yeah, we could flip the bottom shelf, put the smaller casters on, and then it'd be cool because you have those shrouded wheels. You wouldn't see what's actually under there. For all you know, it'll look like some sort of Star Wars, desert racer thingy. That's how they actually did it, I think. Hid the wheels underneath. If you cut the sides down, you lose the strength. That's the problem. I don't want to lose the strength because it's already a bit of a dubious sheet metal construction because it's relying on the square nuts to basically provide the stiffness, which is not how I like to have these things done. Like so, I would have preferred to have 2 bolts per shelf, or at least have something drop down, like if the shelf had a flange that sort of came down and that added your rigidity, or even just supporting bracket underneath, something like that, something that's going to strengthen your orthogonal angles here. But instead they just go for a square-headed bolt. Oh, that'll crime. If you flip the shelf, the wheels will be hidden anyway if still mounted by. They will, yeah. But like I said, I just need to drill like another, well, whatever that distance is, just flip it, and that would be fine. And it would give me, let's see, actually the easiest way to tell whether it would work is the fact that, yeah, that would work, because you would gain this distance, and that brings it right along. The bottom of this shelf lip is on the top of the laminate bench top, so it actually would be a perfect match then. Maybe rollers such as broom handles. Install cross bracing on the back for strength. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, I am done. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so it is time for me to pack it in. Thanks very much for sticking around and crying to your eyes bleed simply because I don't do things properly. It gave me an uplift. So, would you give the height of the shelf? I don't know what the height of the shelf is. I'm guessing, it's like 3 inches maybe. I don't have a ruler in this room. I should have a multiple set of steel rulers, and I do not. So that's my bad. Alright, I'm out of here. You'll take care. Thanks very much. Might see you tomorrow if we get some computers in, and then we can try the trolley. Oh, crikey. Look, I just realised you can see my Dyson vacuum cleaner, and you can see my chainsaw. Yeah, basically you chainsaw things and then you clean up for the Dyson. Catch you all later. You'll take care.